My name is Alex R.M. Thompson.
Great.
The RM is important because otherwise you end up running into, like, there's a yachtsman named Alex Thompson, there's an Australian pop singer named Alex Thompson. Currently I am residing in Edmonton. I'm a Squatchawaskahegan in Alberta, Canada. I'm originally from Brantford, Ontario. Lived a few years in Toronto, but yeah. My education in art started in 2009, I guess. I did a printmaking degree at the Ontario College of Art and Design, followed by several years kind of out in the world working, and then I returned to printmaking for a master's degree at the University of Alberta. My kind of initial exposure to printmaking was when I was in my undergrad degree. I had this fabulous professor, Rudolf Bickers, who kind of got me into etching. I would say that my creative practice does kind of bridge a lot of different media outside of printmaking. I think a lot of what I do does have kind of one foot in printmaking in some respect, if that makes sense. In conceptual terms, I think a lot about the way that kind of a building kind of comes about as a result of a couple of things, but you know, it requires a huge amount of capital and being able to kind of move a lot of different mechanisms in order to have a structure finally kind of built. And so I think about the way that kind of these structures sort of rehash dynamics of power that exist within city spaces. And in some ways can be used then to extrapolate like what a given kind of prevailing culture holds important or places value on. So I find that an interesting dynamic to start kind of taking apart, because what does it then mean to depict architecture? And from a practical standpoint, it's one of these things where you start having to, because these works exist as collages, there's a lot of kind of working out, you know, how do the different components fit together in a way that starts to make sense as a space that could be, while still indicating that they are imagined or not real. And a lot of the play with scale comes into that. So building spaces where, you know, the piece in the other room has a staircase that has been kind of expanded to fill a huge amount of space, when it actually is much smaller. And I think I like to kind of play with that threshold of believability, shall we say. This is 104th Avenue. So as you walk along 104th Avenue in Edmonton, you will encounter all of these, or would have in 2020, 2021. I guess I probably took the records in, December of 2020 was when I took the walk. So there's a piece that accompanies these three prints. And it's a series of these like photographic excerpts from all of the component parts of these places that are all like labeled with their timestamp. So when I encountered each of those places. Yeah, so all of this is real. And what makes the gallery Haika art unique? I definitely think the concentration of print work in one space is such a lovely thing to see. All of the kind of galleries that I have encountered that have been very sort of focused on print work have been like attached to print shops. Sure. And so I think like it's beautifully situated in a place to kind of illustrate the breadth of printmaking and what's possible through the graphic arts. Yeah, I think it's providing a wonderful opportunity to kind of showcase all of these different works, and like just looking around the room right now is like every corner has something different. Yeah, it's wonderful. I think the gallery plays an important role within that dynamic as well, because like I think there's always that, you know, you can encounter an artwork, but what sort of really helps, I guess, kind of convert you to an artwork or draws you to an artwork is that kind of narrative element behind it. And so much of that is dependent on there being either like a really clear message within the artwork itself, or that there's this meeting point between, you know, a human who can introduce you to the artwork and kind of bring you into it in some ways. So it's really lovely to get to kind of meet the people who are going to be that kind of interface with the public and viewers and other human beings.